This is Mike Rougeau with Kombo.com. We're going to talk about Fallout New Vegas with Larry Liberty from Obsidian. So what do you do? What's your title?
My title is Senior Producer. I am the lead producer on Fallout New Vegas. I manage the internal development of the game.
Awesome, cool. So obviously successor to Fallout 3, which was immensely popular. It was awesome. I actually got a chance to play New Vegas earlier. It felt great. It felt very familiar. So I was wondering what New Vegas is doing to expand the Fallout universe in general.
Aside from, well, first and foremost, we hope you noticed a difference with combat.
I did, yeah. It was. Go ahead.
And I think it is something that you'll experience. It will reveal itself in time that we've actually put a lot of effort into making combat, damage reduction, weapons, ammunition, all that feel good, because that is actually a lot of the feedback we got from the mod and the fan community is they love weapon mods, they love weapons in general and ammo and all of that. But we've also added things to make companions more meaningful. One thing that I think Obsidian does well is write companions. We have some of the best game writers, Chris Avalone in particular, and so we want to make companions a little easier to use, so we've added the companion wheel for that. So you won't lose companions as easily. Something that I unfortunately did all too often in Fallout 3 is I lose them, I'd have them killed in like the first combat or two because it was difficult to keep track of their health and so forth. Of course, we've also changed the setting, and with the setting comes gambling. So we had to have a bunch of gambling mini games, and also something else beyond the standard casino games. We've got a game called Caravan that we think will be really fun. It's something that's played by caravan guards and other traders, and it's a game, a simple Annie game, but it's a fun card game. We just feel like there is a lot of new content, new perks, probably double the number of weapons, and it is just a completely new world that's rich and different with lots of new creatures. And
the companion wheel was actually probably my favorite part of the things I saw. It's much better than the dialogue-based interaction that you've had with companions in the past. One of the other things that felt familiar but still much better was aiming down the sights was much more fluid, and I understand as you progress through the game you'll gain abilities that make that true aiming down the sights.
Right.
I got a chance to play the blackjack and the roulettes, and I was intrigued with the idea of breaking the casinos, and they ban you if you win too much money.
Each of the casinos will have their own limits. There's some poorer casinos, and I don't know at what level you won that forced the ban at the tops, I assume, but different casinos will have higher thresholds. And did you actually get comped? So if you win a little bit, the casino wants to encourage your business. They'll comp you a drink, they'll comp you some food, but only when you get to a certain point. Once you reach a certain threshold, they'll assume you must be cheating. So we do want gambling to be an important part, but not a game-breaking part of the game. So that's kind of why we have that mechanism in place. So if you're really lucky, if you have your luck maxed out, you can only do so much damage. So I guess gambling is pervasive beyond casinos, mainly through Caravan.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That was one of the favorite things that I experienced. I wanted to ask you about the setting because obviously it's a lot different from Washington D.C., which is the setting of Fallout 3. Whereas in Washington, that city had been just devastated by the bombs, and Vegas is a city that didn't get hit by any bombs directly, if I'm correct. So how does the setting differ, and how is it different from the last time we've seen it?
Well, I think you should notice immediately that the sky is different, that there is less destruction. You don't see massive impact craters everywhere. DC was in shambles. They of course had some iconic elements intact, more or less, but it was really hard hit. What we have is a community that's aged, old. You'll see things that are sun bleached, but they're trying to rebuild. So it's more or less intact. There's also a massive source of water and energy in Hoover Dam. Lake Mead is a source of clean water. So overall, I think the feeling is quite different. You'll see beautiful sunsets. You'll see clear azure skies. You'll see things that you wouldn't see and wouldn't really make sense in the capital wasteland because it was devastated. It felt like, wow, just breathing here might be radioactive. So it should have a different feel.
So how else are you going to take player feedback from the last game into consideration? What other aspects of the game have been highly affected by that?
Well, one thing we've done is both listen to the modding community, listen to forum feedback, but we've also done a bit of focus testing during development. We brought people in, and they've helped us balance the game, help us find problems in paths where we thought we were trying to leave things open. We inadvertently allowed players to kind of break the game, to not introduce certain quest givers and things like that. So I firmly believe in listening to feedback, even if it's highly critical, and focus testing as much as we can. So I think if you want more specific things, I think as far as tuning is concerned, we that's where focus testing comes in. We want to make sure that we have our baseline game be very accessible, and for those that really do want a challenge, that's what hard and hardcore mode is for. But we want an enjoyable experience that has enough kind of breadth of gameplay where you have options, and I think that's one thing that we did in our first location, Good Springs. We wanted to allow the player to experience a little bit of pretty much every type of gameplay. That's doubly important because once you leave Good Springs, we actually will throw up a message and say, hey, are you sure this is what you want to be? This is your last chance to edit your character. So you create your character, you have an initial psych evaluation with the doctor in Good Springs, the guy that basically rehabilitates you. But if you find out in the course of playing through Good Springs that, I really would have liked some speech options or sneak would have been useful, we expose that in gameplay and then allow you to make those changes.
Great. Well, like I said, it's shaping up to look really awesome. I'm really excited to play it. And again, this is Mike Joe from Kombo. That was Fallout New Vegas.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.